Hello and welcome to Instant Transmission, a podcast where we discuss everything Dragon Ball and how tonight is going to be one of the most painful episodes in Instant Transmission history. Tonight, Broly is back again. I'm your host, Dayton, and once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Todd.
Hi.
Tonight's episode will be more of our thoughts and opinions, but this time covering the 1994 movie release called Dragon Ball Z Bio Broly. Just like last time, I'm going to give you an interesting fact from the wiki, which is this is the first Dragon Ball movie where Goku plays no active role. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, he does. Well, we do get a peek of him, but yes, no active role.
Yeah. And with all that covered, was there anything you wanted to add before we got things started here, Todd?
No, I think we can. I want to get through this one quick.
Yeah. So this movie begins with some creepy naked dudes being released out of some goo pods and some rich man cackling evilly, showing that he's the villain. And I think that this is such a like mustache twirling, like typical evil villain scene. I don't know why. I actually love it in a weird, like cringy way.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, this is not trying to hide what it is. It's a little bit campy and tropey and goofy. So, I mean, yeah, I'll take it. I know what to expect, and we only got 45 minutes to get through this movie, so.
Yep, here's bad guy. You don't like him. Cool. All right, economic writing. Let's go.
Yep.
We go through the intro and kick our way over to our first scene of our heroes, which is actually Android 18 inside Mr. Satan's house, smashing things around, demanding the prize money that she helped set him up with.
Yeah, I mean, this is a neat way to kind of connect the narrative for the movie to the actual anime. So this is, I mean, maybe fully after like the Majin Buu arc, maybe before they handle Buu. It's kind of hard to say. We don't see any fusion in here, so who knows?
Yeah, and like all the movies, the timeline is kind of nebulous. They don't really give us a hard point to anchor these events around. And
right,
I mean, I don't know. While they wait, we see this hover car land nearby and some rich-looking man with misfitting clothes, who for some reason like his like belt or like overalls break and his pants fall down. I didn't really understand the point of this scene. It just seemed like kind of senseless humor.
and then he just falls into a pool. Like I don't have. Yeah, it's comedy just for the sake of it, I guess.
So yeah, we get pants fall down, see underwear funny. But we do find out that this person is working with Mr. Satan's cousin, Jaguar, and Jaguar is kind of blackmailing Mr. Satan, saying he's going to release some embarrassing photos of him at summer camp when he was a kid and when he wet the bed, unless he fights Jaguar's warriors. And so we kind of have the setup here for getting our heroes to where they need to be to get to the bad guy.
Yeah, we basically our heroes kind of head out to a remote island. I think we go with Mr. Satan, 18, Goten and Trunks hop into the car. I think Krillin stays behind, if I remember correctly. And there are a bunch of these like kind of strangely colored bioengineered muscle men.
With no genitalia. That's important that they are all naked with no genitalia. It's a really weird combination.
It is a very strange look. And we basically get Mr. Satan's like, hey, I'll fight whoever you want, until he gets a real demonstration of these guys. And then I think he kind of...
Can I point out something, though? Because when Mr. Satan, like, there's like this big indoor arena that they're all going to do the battle at. And actually, I think the arena's kind of cool. You've got like these big tanks in the background with like interesting creatures. The rich guy is sitting on, or Jaguar, we know his name at this point, is sitting on like his big throne to watch over them. I'm like, this is kind of a badass little arena. I kind of dig it. But as Mr. Satan enters the arena, he's doing like flips and stuff, and he slips on a banana. And I don't know why. Why is there a banana peel there? This is one of the most jokes for the sake of a joke I've ever seen in anything, full stop.
Like, I think we see Trunks and Goten eating food, but I don't think that they connect those two pieces. I don't think that there's like a banana peel thrown in the... I don't know. It does feel like there's a lot of like just comedy for the sake of it. It's a little bit strange.
Yeah, it's almost like Family Guy levels of comedy. Like it's hard for me to like follow it where there's no context to it. But yeah, I had to point this out because they were building up Mr. Satan to be like this badass, and they're like, oh, banana peel, which okay, like honestly, you could have just had him slip; it would have been just fine. But now you have to explain this banana peel.
Right. Yes. Yeah. The banana peel does kind of throw it off. Um, but we kind of move forward with Mr. Satan basically like, hey, I'll fight all these bio warriors until he gets a demonstration of them. At which point he's like, well, in typical Mr. Satan fashion, he's like, I'm sick. 18, go get him for me. And then, well, 18's getting ready to fight, and then Goten and Trunks reveal themselves, and they're like, we'll fight him.
Yeah. So the kids snuck along, which is kind of a common thing. They do this stuff all the time. And the battle kicks off here. And I want to say that this little scene is very short, but 18 and the kids like whooping these bio warriors' asses actually is animated fairly well. It's fun. Like you see the characters all coming on and off the screen as they beat up their respective opponents. I mean, it's not a close battle at all, but it does make our heroes kind of look badass here. And I'll actually give it a tip of the cap here. I think this is a good looking scene.
Yeah, it's not bad. There's a shot of like the big, hefty looking bio warrior like chomping onto Goten's hand, like he's trying to eat him or something. It's kind of fun. It's fun to see our heroes kind of knock these guys around. We also get a shot now of, I don't remember this guy's name. He's not really that important, but he was from the previous Broly movie. He was the tie wrapped around his head, wand waving shaman guy in the village, and it sounds like he's kind of the one who's helped Jaguar make these bio men or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe they explain it better in the Japanese or something, because in the English dub, we do get an explanation. I don't remember if it's exactly here or not, but apparently this guy needed a job after the events of Broly the Second Coming, and he scraped some blood off of Broly's like pod and sold it to Jaguar for a bunch of money. Like I guess that was his role in all of this.
Yeah, that part I think you're right. I think we do find that part out a little bit later, but we do see him kind of like running around. He's obviously connected here. But as our heroes kind of dispatch the biomen, Mr. Satan's bragging about his victory of his students, and Jaguar's like, "Oh, I've got one more thing for you guys to fight, for you to challenge you, Mr. Satan." And then he pushes a button and his whole base, like the whole arena, lifts up and shows like it's basically like a big lab is the best way I could probably describe it. It's got all these different like platforms and tubes and all kinds of stuff.
I actually thought this was cool as well. Like I actually think the arena, this fighting area is kind of interesting because it transforms, and now you're going from like this big open, almost like decadent fighting area to now this industrial laboratory with all these people working and like all these experiments going on in the background. I think as far as like background fighting elements and just like scene, I actually think they do a decent job here. It's something I will give this movie another tip of the cap of. It's an interesting environment, even if we don't even really utilize it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we talk about in Dragon Ball a fair bit, is that they use a lot of the same environments over and over, and they don't use them well. So it's nice. Again, this one's not used the best, but it is at least unique visually, which I do like a lot. And we kind of see these big human-sized tubes that are filled with liquid. We see there are the biomen being kind of grown in these things, I guess. One in particular, though, stands out because it has a tail.
Yeah, and this definitely catches Trunks and Goten's attention as they creep up to get a better look at it. And this is where we find the naked form of Broly looking back at the boys. And this kind of freaks them out a little bit. They kind of panic and run off because they thought Broly was dead. In fact, we know Broly should be dead because he got blasted into the sun at the end of the last movie. And it's at around this point that they track down the shaman character or whatever he is. And this is where we get the explanation of him collecting the blood sample and how this is a re engineered Broly. So this isn't actually the same Broly. This is like a recreation.
Right. Which, I mean, by the movie's namesake, are Bio Broly, created with his blood. And this, well, this basically turns into the kids are like, well, we need to dispatch Broly before he gets out of there, otherwise he's going to be a problem. And I gotta say, this part is interesting because both Trunks and Goten start firing off Kamehamehas, which I don't like it. This is a nitpick. There are a lot of things about this movie that are not my favorite, but I don't like that Trunks is using a Kamehameha. I I'm sure he could have learned it from Gohan or Goten at some point. It'd be weird for Goten to teach it to him. Um, but I think Vegeta would fucking lose his mind if he saw Trunks using a Kamehameha.
Yeah, it does feel a little out of place here. I also think that like their decision to just like blast everything feels a little weird too. Like it doesn't feel like something I would typically see in like the Dragon Ball franchise. Like I feel like they might try to find another way or be like, "Do you think he's still evil? I don't know. Should we tell somebody?" Like it feels weird that their immediate response is, "Let's blow him up." Um, I don't
It
know.
could be, yeah.
But either way, they don't blow him up because he wakes up before the Kamehameha waves can be launched, and the whole place goes into lockdown.
Yeah, yeah, the whole place. Oh, I also got to point out the main doctor here. Again, I did not write down many of these characters' names because they're not super significant. But
Is it Doctor Sexy?
sure. I, the doctor I'm talking about is like the older doctor with the receding gray hairline, who is very clearly voiced by Chris Sabat, as we know, our voice actor for Vegeta and Piccolo. But it's Chris Sabat. Basically, he's kind of doing a Piccolo voice with a bad German accent, and I couldn't stop laughing at it the entire time.
I mean, they've definitely like tapped that man dry. Where it's just like I don't have any more voices. I can try and find like some in betweens, but it, I think you can only make so many different sound effects out of one mouth.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of the funny part is that he does so many random characters in Dragon Ball that you're like, well, there's Chris Sabat changing his voice a little bit, kind of, but he just sounds like Piccolo with a little bit of German in there.
That and I got a feeling like they're not given much time with these characters, so it's just like, all right, you're gonna be
No.
this doctor, go, and it's just like, all right, I guess he's kind of German, like, and I'll use one of my other voices because you're not sinking that much time into one of these side characters, right? You're just gonna grab something out of the bag and try and make it work.
Absolutely. If this doctor has more than half a dozen lines, I would be shocked. It did just give me a little bit of a laugh. But as Broly kind of wakes up in this moment, our doctors are trying to fully lock down the lab, like you said, Dayton, and they put up like these big metal walls, and they start filling the lab with, I don't even know what it's, maybe you remember the details about this stuff more, but it's some sort of slime or ooze that's supposed to, I guess, kill whatever the heck it touches.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't quite fully understand it because I don't think it was explained very well. But the understanding I've come to is that this ooze is supposed to like contain these fighters, like break them back down. So that way, like if they go out of control, they can stop them. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and now all the ooze is on the loose. Um, that's my understanding. I don't think that's explained, but that's the understanding I've come to after watching the movie.
Yeah, yeah, same. I did not feel like it was explained to us very well. The interesting part is that I think this ooze covers Broly as he breaks out of his chamber, and Broly breaks out of the metal casing that encased his glass vial tube thing. Um, and as he does break out of it, he's covered in this slime, and we get to see our real Bio Broly, who looks like Swamp Thing with bananas coming out of his head.
it's not it's not one of the better looking villains I've seen. Because they're trying to keep like some of those Broly similarities, right? So that we know who it is. But they're just like tacked onto this weird ooze form, and it looks so awkward. Like there's almost no personality to it. It's just ooze thing. And then you like Mr. Potato Head some Broly hairs under there.
Truly, it's yeah, it's one of my least favorite character designs, maybe in all of Dragon Ball. Period.
I yes,
it's not good.
I'm right there with you. It doesn't inspire much, but it is supposed to be pretty spooky because now that he's free, he's basically ordered by Jaguar to take out Hercule, and Hercule is forced to pay another 20 million Zenny to 18 to protect his own life. So 18 charges into battle. But this time, her attacks seem to have no effect, and she's just swatted to the side. And so now things are getting interesting as Trunks and Goten are forced into the fray.
Yeah, yeah. It's I was just thinking about like the how powerful these characters are because 18 was able to basically stick it to Super Saiyan Vegeta in the Cell arc. She's like stands absolutely no chance against Broly here though. It's some of the I will say some of the fighting sequences here are pretty neat with Goten and Trunks jumping in as they go Super Saiyan, and this kind of turns into uh, basically the kids are trying to fend off Broly. They're really no match for him. They tried to take him out before he got released, but also the ooze is now out of control. The ooze is like running through the lab and has the potential to kill a bunch of these doctors. I think the kids have to save Mr. Satan from the ooze, and they end up like starting to save some of the other doctors. So the whole everything's going tits up. Like they're not in a good spot here.
Yeah, and it seems like this ooze just pretty much destroys whatever it touches. So it's you kind of have this floor is hot lava aspect being added to the environment at this point.
It's I think somebody I think it's Mr. Satan even makes a comment that even Goku couldn't survive the ooze, which is a wild comment to make. Like I don't know. I know that we've had like Android 18, for instance, like doctors and scientists have created things that are more powerful than Super Saiyans and whatnot. But for this ooze to be able to just kill anything and everything it touches, like even a Super Saiyan, it just feels a little weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are about it. Like we've seen like with Bobbity, him throwing like his weird ooze stuff on one of our heroes. I forget which one, and he just like powers up and gets it off of him and keeps going. So literally magical destruction substances can be just overpowered. So I'm assuming just you need to get to a certain level of power and then you're immune to it. So maybe our heroes are just not strong enough based off of Hercule's expert opinion.
It's his expert opinion. Yes, that's an important factor there too. Um, let's see. I'm trying to even think about what some of the sequences here. So
I found this fight to be a little chaotic. Because it's a little repetitive where someone charges in, gets beat up, knocked away. Next person charges in, gets beat up, knocked away. And then the other person gets back up, charges in, gets knocked away. Like it kind of this is a little bit of a repetitive fight here. I'm going through here because I'm trying to see if there were any sequences that I took the time to write down because I don't think there was much choreography in all of this.
there's one or two little ones. I think there's one where, well, one important detail is that 18, I think, is about to get like eaten up by the ooze, and Krillin comes in and just flies in and saves her. I think one of the sequences that I really liked though was actually when Goten and Trunks are fighting. I think Trunks gets knocked away, and then Goten is kind of fighting Bio Broly by himself for just a brief moment. And it's just uh, the details of it. It's more like he just gets in a cool kick and like dodges one attack because he's much smaller than Bio Broly, and then gets like a sweet uppercut into his chin. Um, the fight sequences are like just very short pieces like that. There's one too where Goten and Trunks are kind of like working together and flying around Bio Broly, and Goten kind of like spin dodges off of Bio Broly's fist when he punches at him. So there's a couple, like, they're very short. They're maybe 30-second clips, but there's a few that are pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's also one of the less remarkable fights that I've seen in Dragon Ball for
For
me.
sure.
And this movie seems to have a few moments like that, right? Where you get this scene that looks decent, but there's not much substance to it. It almost feels like junk food in a weird way, which is fine. Like this is a little one-off movie. I'm fine with there being little junk food moments like this.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. This kind of turns into I'm trying to think of the actual significant parts here because Goten and Trunks get beat up at some point. Krillin tries to Kienzan or Destructo Disc the monster, and it actually hits and goes through Bio Broly's neck. But then we see because he is Bio Broly and made of slime, his neck just reattaches itself, I guess.
Yeah, I was so bummed out. I was just like, come on, give our short king just like one cool moment. Like he did save 18, but I want his signature move to like do some damage. But obviously, I'm biased.
I I don't think we've ever seen Krillin's Destructo Disc hit something and do something. We've seen it cut off Frieza's tail. That's
Yeah.
about the extent of it.
I mean, it's unfortunate. Actually, cutting off Frieza's tail is pretty bomb. So that is a pretty big moment.
It's pretty cool. That's about the best that is done, unfortunately. Um, I don't even. I mean, there's a moment where Trunks moons and flicks off Bio Broly to get his attention. And I think it's mostly just so that they can destroy one of the big vials, the big vats of slime. Um, and it kind of falls onto Bio Broly.
Was that on purpose? Because like he backs up into the corner and then starts freaking out, and then I like it felt like he had a plan, but also felt like it wasn't a well constructed plan. So I was trying to figure out whether he did that on purpose or not.
I think the way that they show it is that Trunks taunts Bio Broly to get him into the spot that he wants him. And then Trunks kind of flips around and blasts the container, but the container doesn't break immediately. Like Trunks didn't blast it well enough. And so that's why Trunks is like backing away, like, oh crap, oh, it didn't work. And then it does work after a few seconds, I guess.
Okay, so that's what I didn't understand. I was just like, I don't understand the drama here because I feel like this should have just worked like from the beginning, and I don't know what's going on. But I guess the weird delay was just there for suspense. Yeah, that's the right word.
I think so. I feel like maybe they could have had like Goten saw the plan and like he did the rest of the damage to the thing or something. It would have been a little more clear and a little bit more interesting, I guess.
Yeah, but Broly gets covered by the goop, and it looks like he's basically defeated as he gets absorbed to it, and you see like this red core that he had kind of, I guess, dissolve into this goop, representing the end of Bio Broly.
Question mark.
And yeah, at this point, Trunks runs across the facility that's completely awash with the ooze at this point and finds Goten passed out and is able to save him from the goop. But right before he's able to do that, there's a moment where an oozy version of Broly rises before them and then washes away, representing he's still alive, maybe?
Yeah, and it's like this giant form. He's kind of purpley looking, like the actual slime. But he does kind of wash away our heroes between Goten, Trunks, 18, and Krillin. They're basically like, oh, we need to do something about this slime because it's pouring out of this facility. Like we can't let it just, if it keeps going, it's going to hurt some people. So they're trying to figure out what to do, and they find that Mr. Satan almost falls into the water basically as he's running away from the slime, and they see that where the slime touches the seawater, it turns to stone, almost like lava when it touches water, I guess. And And so they devise a plan to, I think it's Krillin, Goten, and Trunks all do a Kamehameha. Again, don't like it from Trunks, but they splash water on the island and save the day.
Yeah, but the day isn't saved yet because a big gooey Broly comes up out of the water, and yeah, they have to cover him in water, and then, or I'm sorry, he's in the water and turns into stone, so they blast him specifically, and then the day is saved. Now it's really over.
It really feels like there's, I don't know, just fabricated tension in this multiple times. That Bio Broly popping up 2 extra times is it just feels goofy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just say the last scene here, so that way we can
Yeah.
kind of dissect it. We wanted to fly through this movie just that way we could talk about our overall feelings. So we cut over to Goku in Otherworld, and apparently Broly is acting up in Hiffle, and Goku's got to go take care of him. But Goku's got an empty tummy, so he's gonna finish eating and then go take care of him. So there's something going on with that. I don't know what that means, but neat. Movie ends, and yeah, this is, I mean, dare I say, this is one of the most painful Dragon Ball movies I think I've ever seen.
It's the worst. At least in the run of Dragon Ball Z, the 13 Dragon Ball Z movies, I would say it's the worst. I think most of the fan base thinks it's the worst. So I don't think we're hurting any feelings. I don't think anybody's like, "Oh, Bio Broly's my favorite."
And I mean, like, there's a couple little shining moments, right? Like some flares of fun animation and the fight sequences. For me, one of the highlights of this movie is the fact that 18 actually gets to be in the spotlight, which is such, like, that's not even a side character. That's like a side character, right? And you're actually giving them some spotlight. That's actually pretty cool. And I like 18 as a character too, so it's like double awesome.
Yeah, I honestly, I would watch so much more content with 18 and Krillin in it, 100%. Um, I mean, Krillin's in here a little bit. He does throw a Destructo disc, I guess, and there's no blatant jokes at Krillin's expense, which I think I like. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like done dirty, I don't think. But at the same time, I don't think he actually punched fists with Broly at all. Like, I don't think he actually exchanged any blows with anybody. He fired the Destructo disc, and then later on, he participated in the group Kamehameha, and that was about all he really did after saving 18.
I think so. I think he gets hit after he throws his Destructo disc, but I don't think he actively punches or kicks Broly in any way. Um, yeah, I just give me more Krillin and 18, truly. Like I would love to see it. Really just give me more of any of the side characters. The fact that this movie props to this movie for not having, it almost doesn't have Goku in it. It has a scene with him at the very tail end. And I like that. I'm happy about that.
I mean, I would love just to see some sort of storyline or something where Goku and Vegeta are off doing their universe training, and the heroes that are still on Earth need to like step up. Like, we need to have them step into the limelight, right? Like something similar to the superhero movie.
I was about to say superhero 100% because that's exactly what that movie is.
And I want more of the characters to step in, though, right? Like, it seems like that movie mostly got Gohan back into the fight and Piccolo back into the fight. That felt like the focus of that movie.
Yeah.
I want to see Krillin. I want to see 18, TN. Like, I want to see all the characters get that kind of step back into relevance, because we have so many great characters in Dragon Ball, and they're still strung along, right? Like, we still see them in most of the Dragon Ball content that's produced, but they're never like shown in a significant way. So if their story arc is finished and they're retired, I'm fine with that. But it almost feels even worse to keep stringing them along and just having them be a shadow of what they used to be. Like, that is almost more painful to me.
Gohan, yeah, they do that with Gohan constantly. Yeah, I agree. I like that this movie tried to do that. It's probably one of the earliest times where we actually see some characters who have kind of been sidelined actively doing things. Presumably, well, we don't see fusion in this movie, so maybe Goten and Trunks, maybe it's supposed to be before they learn it, I guess. Um, yeah, I don't know. This movie overall is not good. I'll just say it that way. It's the first half of this movie, which is basically the setup of like, oh, Mr. Satan pissed his pants as a kid. He's being blackmailed. 18 wants her money from Mr. Satan. And the boys are along just because they're going to get food from Krillin, I guess. Um, it it feels silly. It feels pointless. I could have skipped it and not really missed much.
If they
And
didn't
then
spend
the
as long on it, I'd honestly be fine with it. If you just want some BS reason for a fight, right? Like I don't need a good reason for everyone to be fighting. But if you're not going to give me a good reason, at least be a little bit more economical about it, because the first half of this movie is just setup.
Yeah, yeah, truly. And then the setup does not lead to an interesting or exciting fight either. It is arguably the worst villain in Dragon Ball, just period.
I mean,
Like,
he's not compelling.
no.
For one, he doesn't say a single word, right? Like he's even worse than the previous movie where we made fun of him for just saying Kakarot.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, in the previous movie, I think he just said Kakarot even a couple times. Like he didn't even say that much, but we somehow got even worse from like the one or two lines he says to zero. Um, his like fighting style is like even more watered down in this one. Like we really don't
Yeah.
see him being like the brute that he's made out to be. We don't see him just like being this overwhelming, like muscular, bulky thing. He's actually just an ooze monster, and he is strong, but there's less personality to his fighting in this movie. So it's whatever fun we were having watching Broly before, a lot of that's gone. And on top of that, I mean, he just looks silly. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I can forgive a lot of stuff, but having a silly looking villain, that's almost unforgivable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean given the fact that we have other Dragon Ball Z movies where the villains are interesting, they're unique, they have fun character designs. I think when we go to watch movie 12, that one has one of my favorite character designs for the villains. So we know that they can make interesting character designs. This one just misses the mark completely. It looks bad. It feels bad. The character is not interesting. Like Broly, I mean, this is the third Broly movie in the Dragon Ball Z original run of movies, and Broly just goes downhill the deeper we get into these movies. And I personally don't think he's very interesting to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, you're not working with a lot. And the fact that you were even able to live up to that kind of low bar you set for yourself, like you just needed this really powerful guy who just kind of fought with all might, right? Like it's all power. And somehow you weren't able to even live up to that standard. And I mean, this is one of those ones where, like, I said at the beginning of this with a Todd before we started, I was just like, we got to cruise through this episode because I'm going to be spending a lot of time complaining about this episode, and I don't like to do that on the podcast. And there's plenty of stuff that I have tons of bugaboos with, right? Like the whole Dragon Ball Super anime has so many issues with it that I could just opine over for forever. But I don't like doing that. I love Dragon Ball, and so I don't want to focus on the downsides or the bad points, but this is a tough one for me because this movie, um, I mean, it has pacing issues. Like the entire setup of it feels like it takes forever, and then we get into the fight with the Biomen, and it's not. It's animated in a fun way, but it's not an interesting fight. And then we slow down. We're back in the lab, and we're looking at all the stuff, and I feel like we don't get a climactic moment, right? Like we don't get the final showdown where our heroes are pushed to that like their limit and they have to like hold their ground or overcome the big monster. There's no like point in this movie I can put my finger on and be like, yeah, this is like the final scene. This is that final moment that really ended the bad guy. And I like those moments. Those are memorable moments. And that doesn't really happen here. Like we kind of get like a half-assed fight with him and the boys where he gets covered in the goop and then everything's just weird after that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean I pretty much agree with everything you had to say there. The fight is resolved by Trunks kind of solving the puzzle, which is totally fine. But it doesn't. There's some missing tension. There's it just doesn't feel like the heroes are pushed to their breaking point, kind of like you said, Dayton.
Like they had to
And
fight to get to that solution.
exactly, yeah. And I mean, you could say maybe like we get the Krillin, Goten, Trunks, Kamehameha for them to splash some water on the island. Like maybe that's the climax moment. Or you could say that Broly coming out of the water and then turning to stone and them all blasting him together is the climax moment, but they're not satisfying climax moments, that's for sure.
Yeah. Like it's I don't know. Like it ended and I was just like, I definitely feel like I'm not full. Like I feel like I'm missing a portion of my meal. Like, I ordered, steak and potatoes and you just showed up with potatoes. Like I feel like there's definitely something blatantly missing from the story of this movie. And it kind of sucks because I know these movies aren't high budget and I know they're 45-minute like little films just for, your weekly run or whatever. But there's at least I set the bar at the same level as I have all the other movies at, right? Like I'm expecting roughly this quality. And this one just feels like it doesn't even reach that, which is already a lowered bar. And I know you mentioned that we're not huge fans of Broly here on the podcast in general because he's not there's not a lot of uniqueness to Broly. He's just a really powerful dude, which is fine. But that doesn't excite me like some of the other villains do. And
Right.
somehow they've taken that formula and they've watered it down in two other movies. Because the second Broly movie I felt like was a watered down version of Broly, and then this is an even more watered down version of that. And just we're kind of at the bottom of the bucket here. And I mean, I hate to say it, but like I'm so done with Broly at this point. I do not want to see him for a long time. Not until some movie that's released way later that looks way better and fixes everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that we got a 20-year reprieve from Broly between movies at that point. Um, yeah, I feel the same way. It's rewatching all of these Dragon Ball Z movies it's been fun for me to kind of like see how I feel about them as an adult after having not watched some of them for 25 plus years. I could have gone without watching this one again and I would have been perfectly happy.
Well, it stinks, right? Because I actually thought, man, I need to go relook at all of them to figure out where they all land. But like, and we'll do that in an episode one of these days.
Oh yeah.
The From what I remember, the first few were actually pretty decent. Like they made an effort to try and weave them into the timeline. There's an effort put into the choreography. There was tension, and it just feels like they progressively just get a little worse as you chug along. At least up to this point, that's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah, yeah, there's some higher and some lower points, but I think this is the bottom of the trough. The good thing is we're going to do a huge upswing moving
See,
into the
I know
next
nothing
movie.
about these next couple movies. Like, I don't know their names. I don't know anything about them, but I've heard you mention and like there are some tier lists I had looked at that put one of these movies really high on it or something like that, but I don't even remember what that was. So I'm pretty excited to walk into these movies just like completely unaware of what they are because um, hopefully they're a palate cleanser because it's been a rough few movies here.
Yeah, yeah, having the two worst Broly movies back to back is tough. I'm excited to move to the next ones and also see hopefully I want to see your opinions about the next couple, Dayton. Hopefully I haven't talked them up too much. I think in the community they are considered some of the better movies, but I don't know. They're fun at the very least.
I'm
Regardless
still
of
going to
what you
hold them
feel.
to the original run DBZ movie standards and just see how they compare to it. Which, thankfully, like now that I kind of take everything and average it together, that bar has lowered quite a bit.
I guess that's the good thing is like you go from Bio Broly to the next movie number 12, and it's like, oh God, please save me from whatever that last one was.
Yeah, it's I need that palate cleanser. I need things to get better. Like I always walk into everything trying to find something to like, try to latch onto something and be like, oh well, I could really appreciate this concept. But this is one where from top to bottom, there's not very many original ideas at all in this movie. The fighting is subpar. There's no climactic moment. The pacing is bad. I'm sorry, but this was a tough one. So I'm happy that it's over. That's one of my favorite parts is that we can talk about something else because man, it's rough.
I agree. Yeah, just because neither one of us like this movie, but just to kind of give some of its, I guess, redeeming qualities at the tail end here, it does try to do something with side characters, which I like a lot. It does try to tie into a previous narrative. It brings back, even from the movies, it brings back that shaman guy in the previous Broly movie, I guess. So at least it's not just like throwing Broly in here randomly. So there's a few things it's trying to do that I'm like, okay, I get it. I like getting to see Mr. Satan. I love Mr. Satan. So that's always fun. But yeah, I'm really trying hard to find anything to like about this movie.
Yeah. But I mean, thankfully, there's a lot of movies, and it's okay to not really be a fan of a couple of them because there's so much good stuff. There's more good stuff on the horizon.
Yep.
And speaking of the horizon, I got nothing left to say about this one. What about you, Todd?
I've got nothing left. So I think that's going to be it for this episode of Instant Transmission, where we discuss everything Dragon Ball. This has been your host, Todd.
And Bio Dayton.
Don't forget, we're on Patreon and Discord. If you want to get your bio bits all over us, you can find us at patreon.com/ITDBpodcast. The Discord link will be in the episode description, but you can also find it and all of our other links at linktree/ITDBpodcast. Thank you all so much for your support. Be sure to join us next time as we relax at Kame House while recounting our favorite master-student moments. Goku's had a lot of mentors through Dragon Ball, and so have a handful of other characters. Teaching, training, and watching their students grow, we'll talk about which moments made us grab a box of tissues. Will carrying crates of milk satisfy our training arc needs? Or will we be swayed by King Kai's insistence that his students can tell a joke? Or will Goku yelling at children be what touches our hearts? Find out next time. And to all our fellow Dragon Ball fans, stay safe out there and remember to keep rocking the dragon.
So, according to the wiki, apparently there's a scene where Trunks' peen is shown, but they didn't want that in the English version, so they just awkwardly zoomed in on Trunks' face as much as they could, and that scene apparently looks terrible. I have to point it out for you.
I'm pretty sure you can see Trunks' penis when he's bent over showing his butt.
Well, I'll find the scene for it and send it to you. I love early editing, early censorship.
Oh boy. Gotta love American censorship.